Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I plan is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and they talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field. And our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
Yes, y'all. Welcome back to the Post Podium Podcast live here on a Friday. Listen, we ain't got no game on Sunday. At this point, thank you. It's getting crazy out here.
Hey, I can tell you this is a bye week because I have no notes. I'm gonna fly by the seat of my pants today.
It's gonna be a fun one though.
Never did it. Yeah, this is gonna be real fun, and I'm gonna be positive. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I think this is definitely a no sodium episode.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be all fun. I'm not gonna have nothing sour to talk about because we ain't talking about Sean McDermott. So I think we safe on that note. We'll see. Keyshawn may get it in his mind to poke the bear a little bit and see what happens, but we'll try to keep it as sweet as honey as much as possible.
Don't poke the bear. I might have to do it.
That's a warning.
I might have to do it. I'm gonna poke that bear.
I want to pet that dog.
No, don't leave. We need somebody to flip the camera.
Yeah, definitely need that.
You late. Okay.
All right. So, welcome to the show. I am your co-host, Aramis.
And this is Key. I said my name like 4 times already, so I mean.
And I said it too.
You did.
So that's like
point,
5. I'm the only person in here besides Lil Aramis that hasn't said his name.
That's it.
But
Hi, Lil Aramis.
What? You before? I'm sorry, Junie.
He said, "Man, watch out."
What?
I don't care if you say my actual name. It's just the fact that I gotta announce myself when I'm just a producer.
Because you're gonna be in the credits.
You part of the show.
Duh.
I'm in the show. So
you in the show right now.
Right, they can hear you.
I'm switching cameras around. That's
Good job. You're
show.
excellent at it.
People can hear you talk,
right.
So you in the show.
Okay, but I'm talking too.
Why you don't want the producer love? Why you don't want people to?
Producer?
Oh my gosh! Okay,
get a drummer song.
We got to get away from arguing with the producer right now.
Somehow we lost it already.
Yeah, people tuning into the show. Who the heck are they talking to, and why are they arguing with them?
Do they know they're on the air?
Yeah, exactly. No. So today's show is going to be about something that is near and dear to my heart. Something that I haven't been able to do in real life since 2004. You know what I'm talking
about? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I'm talking about Madden 2004 when you used to be able to, create a team and put your roster together and train up the people and all that kind of stuff. That was my jam. I could spend days on end doing that stuff because the possibilities were just endless. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the 2024 Bills, and we're going to see what we can do with the cap situation the way that it is, and we're going to see if we can fix this thing and get it to a point where we can say, yeah, I think that's Super Bowl caliber, the way that everybody was picking us at the beginning of this season to do the same thing. So, with that being said, we're going to go roster spot by, well, not roster spot, but position by position, right?
Well,
that's how we want to do it.
Who's coaching them? No. That's not where I'm going with it.
Oh, okay. I thought you was trying me already.
No. I mean, if you take it that way, sure. I can see how you would. I can say you would, but that's not where I'm going. Because you got to think.
Okay.
Regardless of what Tim Graham reported, which is like we were going.
Wait, what did Tim Graham report?
There's zero chance McDermott's getting fired.
Oh, screw that.
I mean, I didn't let it sour me. I kind of believe it, but it didn't let me sour. I just kept going with my fantasy world.
That's what everybody's saying. I get it, but
well, sidebar, and this might be the only thought I'm gonna. It's not even salty. This is the only thought I have in the real world right now.
Okay.
If everybody's hypothesis was true, and they said McDermott has too much on his plate, McDermott is a great coach, a great defensive coordinator, but he's not good at both at the same time. Mm-hmm. Which is okay, fine. They said McDermott needs to stay with Joe Brady, okay, but he needs to hire a DC. Pause. If McDermott went to hire a DC,
he would have did it.
Yeah. So nothing now is going to say we're going to hire a DC. So My thought process
Now
is
you
somebody.
speaking my language, bro. You speaking my yes.
I know.
Please keep going.
But this is where I might make a left. But you keep me honest here. Another thing I heard was this. They said, "Well," and this is probably the most far left thing I've ever heard in my life. Why don't you just offer McDermott to stay on the team as a DC? Okay. Whoa. This is my thought because I did the same. I was in the shower. I was lathering. I'm getting good.
Until that moment.
Man, I think I dropped everything except the soap. But
Please don't
but
tell
my
me
thing
you
was,
said.
this is what they said. They said McDermott, and you'll like this. You can jump all over this, so feel free. They said McDermott is a good DC, but he needs somebody above him who can veto his calls if they don't like what he's doing. That is the reason why we're having this show where McDermott is getting fired, because McDermott will not subject himself to anything that subjects him to a check and balance.
Yeah, right.
If he would, we wouldn't be having this problem. That's what I said before the season.
If we had a real GM, none of this would have been happening by now.
And
this would have been over.
And that's why that thought right there is exactly why I changed my thought from McDermott could do it if he did to McDermott's got to go. Because I realize, as you've been saying all the time, he's not going to give up that kind of power. He's not going to get to acquiesce to somebody with a check and balance.
Yeah.
He has to have autonomy over who's coaching. He has to have autonomy on offense. Everybody said such. His DNA is on offense. His DNA is on special teams, on defense, everywhere. So while, you're right. If somebody, as I said in previous shows, if he really cared about the progress of the team and self-scouting, as you say, he would say, okay, I can get us to here, but I need help getting us over that hill.
Right.
But he don't want that help. He wants to do it himself.
Right.
Or maybe he doesn't realize he can't do it himself, and he's still hanging on. He's still clinging on to that last little hope that he can do his own thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only close assault thing I was going to say. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. I thought maybe that was something that you would want to expound upon because.
I have two main thoughts, but I think in terms of the whole Sean not getting fired thing, I think one of my biggest points has been Pegula's a businessman, and at some point it's got to become about the bottom line and how the bottom line is being affected by this team's play, and I am certain that over the span of this year, the ticket prices have gone down for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Right, and.
Especially in the secondary, you talking about secondary market?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they've plummeted bad.
And so the person who feels that the most is the owner, by far. Right now, I think what that creates is a scenario where we're going to see how patient Pegula is with losing money with this franchise. And as much as he says, I'm not doing this for the money, I can always go drill another oil well or something like that, whatever it was that he said. I think if that was the case, we would have seen, how can I say this? We would have seen a bigger and better investment at head coach if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because you look at a guy like who's the guy in Denver? Sean Payton. Sean Payton is he's I think he's the highest paid coach right now in the league.
I can believe it.
And that comes straight out the owner's pocket. That don't come off the salary cap.
Right.
That's just straight out dollars, just right from.
And that's important. You can. There's no, like we said last show, you can have and create any position you want. You can say, I want an executive special teams T holder, whatever, and quality control coaches out the yin yang. So there's no salary cap on your coaching staff, and that's something that people need to keep in the back of their minds when they look at the construct of not the team, but the coaching staff that is manning the team.
Right. So all of this for me really comes down to Pegula's patience and how long he's willing to go with letting Sean McDermott try to clean up the mess that he's already made. I've heard this too much now over the last week of, the people who are on this boat of, Sean's not going to get fired. Pegula's not going to fire a guy that ended the playoff drought and got us to the playoffs, 6 years in a row. Wait a second. If I'm not mistaken, the second we start saying that Sean McDermott Sean McDermott is not the one throwing interceptions, that should be the same moment when we start realizing that Sean McDermott's not playing the games. He's not throwing the touchdown passes either. So if we want to put the blame on Josh for the turnovers, then we also have to give him the accolades and the credit for the wins as well, because he's the one doing this. He's the one. I got you.
Hey,
I got you.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I mean, he, like, when you think about it, that's exactly what it is. He's the one who has the most pressure of any quarterback in the league right now. Think about it. Like, this is the first year that Mahomes hasn't really had any help, but even throughout his early years, he's always had Travis Kelce. And then he had Tyreek Hill. And then he had, I think LaShawn McCoy was on the team at one point, but he had Kareem Hunt in his second year. Or no, that would have been Mahomes' third year.
Third year?
Yeah, because he redshirted basically his first year.
Yeah, you're correct. You're right.
So Mahomes has had players on offense around him pretty much his whole career, on top of the added benefit of having an offensive-minded head coach, right?
And, I mean, you got to give Bieniemy his flowers, too.
Yeah, right, because what he's doing with the Commanders, you got to give him credit for that, too.
And that's the same thing that happened with Philly when they won the Super Bowl. They had Carson Wentz and what was it? Who was his backup? Nick Foles. Mm-hmm. And they had three quarterbacks on the offensive side. The quarterback coach, former quarterback, the OC, former quarterback, head coach, former quarterback.
Right.
I mean, that's how you insulate, and that's kind of. I want you to keep going with your point, but it just popped in my mind that goes along with what we've been saying without me thinking about it. It's just the fact that not only do you give them the skilled players on the field to play, but you got to give them the guys in the locker room, in the office, in the meetings.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about those over the hill ring wearers that used to play, and contribute minutes. I'm talking about coaches. I'm talking about guys that have done it from the other side of the white line. Right.
That's absolutely right. So when we're talking about what Sean has done, I'm not. What I'm not here to do is I'm not here to destroy the person. What I'm here to do when it comes to Sean McDermott is I'm here to try and clear out all of the noise and really focus in on specifically the job that he has done here. And I'm not going to do that right now. We've got several episodes full of, proof and data and information and even insider information as to, everything from the culture he's built to moves that he's made with coaches to roster moves that he's made. But I think ultimately that's where I go when it comes to those people who are saying, well, Sean did this and Sean did that. Well, let's pause on that. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, because this is a coach who is defensive minded, and if you are really looking at the numbers, and I did prove this too. In his first 2 years as head coach, he was 15-17. Rex Ryan had the same exact record, and it wasn't Mike Mularkey. It was Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone had the same exact record in his first 2 seasons before he quit after Ralph Wilson passed. So there's all kinds of information available to kind of prove to you who Sean is without the added benefit of Brian Daboll, without and even now this year without the added benefit of a Leslie Frazier, because those times at the end of a game where Sean goes, zero blitz, that might have been a time where Leslie Frazier didn't call a zero blitz and maybe just played bracket coverage and made sure that the corner stayed on the outside to force everything towards the middle of the field so that maybe we can, stop the team from getting where they want to get.
And then ironically, what you said with the bracket coverage, that's exactly what beat us on the 13 seconds play.
Right.
Because they were told to make sure nothing got out of bounds. That's why, and everybody, why was Levi? He was told to.
Right.
Who was the other cornerback? Was it Dane Jackson? Whoever it was. They were told, do not let anything out of bounds. Don't let anything behind you, and don't let them get out of bounds. So they did their job.
No, Trey White played in that game, actually.
Was it Trey White?
Trey White,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing. And the thing is, if you're going to be aggressive, I don't mind losing aggressive. but you have to be aggressive at all times.
Right.
You know, if that's your calling card, that's your calling card.
Yep.
Just like Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a running quarterback. He's not a you know, well, I shouldn't say he's a scrambling quarterback because he's not really a runner. That would be Lamar Jackson kind of deal where guys are supposed to run. But if you tell them don't scramble, you're not doing who you are. You're not. That's not who you are. That's not who the NFL expects you to be.
Right.
You know, McDermott. He's blitzes. He does. I still want to know what is the aggression. What was his? Where was his calling card? Because I don't know. Like I said before, Frazier blitzed more than McDermott. If you don't believe me, go look it up. It's documented.
Yeah.
And I read the numbers off, like you said earlier in the earlier shows, so I don't think you need to hear it again. But if you want to know, we can talk about it offline, or, you know, get at me on Twitter, get at me on Facebook, whatever you want to do, and we'll discuss it nicely, but we'll discuss it.
Right. You are really good at that, way better than I would ever be, I have to say, because I read a lot of the stuff that you go with, you know, when you're going back and forth with people. And by the third comment, I'm just ready to start dropping F-bombs all over the place. Like, I'm not built for that kind of, you know, interaction.
I enjoy it. I enjoy talking. I mean, I'm usually working or something like that, and I'm having a ball. You know, so, yeah, I mean, please, if you want to talk, I know that we got, 75, 80 followers on that page, and I'm like, holla at me. Let's talk. You know, you don't have to be quiet. You know, don't worry. If you say something, somebody calls you out your name, I got your back. No doubt. I don't care what they say. You ask a question, you say what you want to say, and I got your back. Just know sometimes I'm responding as a post-podium podcast because I forget to flip it over.
Yeah,
that
same.
Mess is ridiculous. So you never know who you're talking to, but you can tell after you get used to who you're talking, how we talk on the app, you'll know who you're talking to, whether we do it or not.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. It's like as soon as you get a notification, it's like, oh, I want to see that, and then it switches over to the page. No, I didn't want to go there. I want to see it as me.
I'm like,
me.
Oh man, I've deleted so many things and then like went to my page and like put it back on there. So many times.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I got one more thing that I want to
go ahead, man. This show has no bounds.
I love it. This is such a free and light feeling right now. It's nice. Okay, so the Von Miller situation, and I'm going to respect that you are reserving your I'll say your analysis for, you know, a later date when there's more information and stuff. So I'll respect that.
I'll give you, what do they say? I'll give you what I can, but I respectfully I will not comment on. No,
okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. So I had a thought. And I texted you about this too. Yeah. It's going to be surrounded around this. So you're pretty familiar with it, but I had a thought when the Deshaun Watson situation came out initially, and I apologize if this conversation makes anybody uncomfortable. I'm just trying to use both scenarios to kind of speak to a thought that I had. So I'll try to make it brief. With the Deshaun Watson situation, all of that information didn't come out until after he successfully forced his way out of Houston. And Deshaun Watson was with Houston for, 5 years?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, yeah.
And from what I know about what goes on at One Bills Drive, I happen to know that there are private investigators, all types of, you know, people that are paid by the team to investigate players, keep an eye on players, you know, act as support for players, you know, in situations that might be legally questionable, and things of that sort. And I think every team does that, right? So when the Von Miller news came out, it struck that same spidey sense, you know, going off. And what I texted you was, I think the timing of this was really funny because for the last 3 weeks, a lot of people have been speaking out more and more about Von Miller's role on the team and how he might be taking valuable reps away from other players who have been much more impactful. AJ Epinesa. By the way, AJ Epinesa is 15th in I think it's something. He's like the 15th best pass rusher in the league or something like that right now, based on the numbers.
Efficiency,
yeah, pass rush efficiency. Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry. So with all of the, I'll say the beginning of the uproar about Von Miller's, play, several weeks later of no production and, complaining about, the cap hit and all that kind of stuff, and looking at what the cap hit is going to be next year and the year after and the year after and the year after, knowing that you still got this guy on your roster eating up space for a long time. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of funny how something like this just pops up out of nowhere. It just seemed really funny to me, because this would be the perfect time during what is a down season to now have, I don't know, a villain, someone who is doing two things. He's taking attention away from the state of the team, so to speak, and he's also taking attention away from, I don't know, maybe the coaching job that's been going on this year, and maybe one of the most embarrassing losses on national TV last week. I don't think things like this are coincidence. I'm actually the type of person that doesn't believe in coincidences at all. And the reason I brought up the Deshaun Watson situation is for the longest period of time, I couldn't look at that situation and see logically how all of this stuff just happened to come out after 5 years. If all of this stuff happened over 5 years, how did the team not know about it? I mean, some of these people were in the building.
Yeah.
Some of these people were staff. And the team didn't report it. The team didn't, like, how did that take place? And so looking at how that team operates and understanding that it's a copycat league and understanding that most teams generally operate similarly, it became a logical conclusion to kind of, lean towards, okay, is it possible that this situation with Von Miller is something that there's been a history of that we just don't know about? Has there been a history of, I don't know, domestic violence phone calls from the police that we've never heard about? It really starts to make you take a look at, okay, do the teams decide when they're going to let this stuff come out, and do they only let this stuff come out when it benefits them? And if that's the case, it benefits the Bills right now to vilify Von Miller and to allow this thing to just be out there. Like, think about all of the other stuff that Sean has shut down before.
Well, yeah, I think too the ramifications of the cap. I mean, if he's suspended, he loses. He doesn't lose all his money. He loses a guarantee. So that gives him not a lot. It gives him a little bit.
But what about, like, what happens if there's conduct detrimental to the team?
If he's suspended, he loses the guarantee. So that's what happens.
So if he loses the guarantee, then they can just cut him?
No, it's not that much. It's just a year. So you're talking about bringing us, losing or giving us $2 million or something like that.
So is there any instance that you've seen before where an NFL player with that kind of contract has a behavioral issue that allows the team to just cut him with very minimal cap repercussions?
Well, this is the problem. This goes into what I've been screaming. What's the word? The R word I hate. Restructures. Mm-hmm. They just restructured them. So what they could have done, they now don't have the power that they used to have because they pushed the money from now into future years. So while you really took me on the journey with your hypothesis, in this case, it would show you another stark issue with regards to their neglect and their mismanagement of resources. If they knew about something like this and still gave him $120 million to begin with,
right? And
then furthermore restructuring him. And when we get into the actual free agency and all that stuff, I'll kind of remember this because I'll touch back on it again. I might even remember to tie it back in, but No, unless I don't think they can void anything on this contract for this.
So either way, the best possible scenario would be what we talked about in the last episode, which is a post-June cut.
Post-June cut.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I think something like this, to kind of cap this off so we can move on. I think something like this gives the Bills the ability to make that cut and not be vilified for it, because
that's where I agree.
He's a bad guy. We can't have bad apples on this team, or however.
And the thing about it is, I think I said it. I think I might have just said it, but let me just say it again. What do they pride themselves on? Research, building a team full of character guys,
a robust analytics department.
I like that word, robust. I mean, but you look at what they've had a couple of guys on the team where they're like, okay, we might not have done our due diligence. They'll tell you they did, and we didn't see this coming. Matt Araiza, Von Miller. Yeah. Guys that they cut after the first year. Marcel Darius actually made it through a season after we knew about him and his drag race and all that stuff. You know about Kyer Elam. He's a good guy off the field, I guess, but on the field he doesn't give you much as it stands right now. Right. Which we'll talk about in a bit.
Okay.
And who's the other one?
The player?
Yeah. I'm trying. I can't remember. It'll cycle through. But
okay.
I mean, there's a couple instances where you didn't put your money where your mouth was. Yeah. You do all this, we do all that. We're diligent. We make sure our guys fit into our character, our culture, but you don't. So I don't see what we talked about. I don't care if they fit in your culture, if they win you games. But I don't really care about your culture either. I mean, I don't want you to be a team of the early, 2000s, late 90s Cowboys, right. the Super Bowl Cowboys, where you got Michael Irvins and people doing what they're doing outside, getting arrested left and right.
Yep.
But there's a huge gray area between them. There's a middleman, and it's huge.
Yep.
So just slate in there.
I'm going to need you to stop banging on Sean like that. This is not a Sean episode, bro. All right.
If y'all don't know, y'all can't see the producer. You gotta get a camera on him at some point.
Yeah. We're gonna say I ordered some HDMI extensions, so we're gonna have like a third shot, and maybe I can put a fourth shot on him over there.
It's like dang well, Key don't be ragging on Shauna like that. I'm gonna let you have it.
Tune in on Monday because we're gonna have a camera available to put it on the producer, and we'll flip over to him whenever he has his looks. I might keep the controls for that over here just so I can catch him sleeping and stuff like he be catching Keyshawn playing with toys.
Oh, that was fun.
Listen. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and look at it because we had to break Keyshawn's concentration like 3 different times on that episode to get him to stop playing with it. What kind of toy was it? It was
that little Hermione that you say is not her. You said it's not Hermione.
It's not Hermione. It's Hermione.
I never watched any of that. So I don't know.
You need to.
I don't want to. You want me to go to sleep for real?
It's one of the greatest movie franchises of all time.
Okay. You're right.
Okay.
Anyway.
I appreciate that. Letting me have it.
You got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving right along. It's time to get into this 2024 rebuild. Or do you want to say rebuild, retool, fixing the Bills? Okay.
Tinkering. We're going to tinker with 2024 Bills and see what we can do to try to bring back what we can bring back.
That's the worst NFL word you can use, or the worst football word really is tampering. But
we're going to tinker, not going to tamper.
Okay. All right. Tinker is it. No, I just mean from a standpoint of like you're not supposed to. It's tampering if you talk to. Yeah, I thought it was funny.
They don't know me. I don't know them. We're good.
So let's see here.
So I think we need to start at the top. All right. So let's start with the headset. Who's wearing the headset in 2024? Who do you have? Ben Johnson, I guess, huh?
It's got to be Ben Johnson.
I don't have Ben Johnson on my list.
What?
I know. I took him off.
I need a Little John button. What?
Well, the reason is I am intrigued by, one that snuck into my brain after doing research was Kellen Moore. And the second one was Bobby Slowick. And I
would take any one of those three.
I like Slowick. The reason why I think I'm leaning towards Slowick reminds me of a McDermott kind of personality. Not so tight, but he doesn't have that I don't want to say likability, but you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that thing about him that that's going to draw people to him. But he has a defensive knowledge because he started on defense.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning
on two
that.
or three levels of defense, and then he moved to the offense, and then now he's doing big things with, and I saw a couple of videos with him where I was trying to find him mic'd up because I really want to see how his coaching style is. But I saw videos of him working with C.J. Stroud and his drop backs and what he should be doing with his arms. So he's kind of got that quarterback. I don't know if he played quarterback anywhere, but he has that eye for how to make it work.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore, on the other hand, he's a younger guy. Obviously in Dallas, he worked with Dak. And in LA, he's working with Justin Herbert.
Yeah. Proven guy. His offenses work.
His offenses do work in two different systems. I mean, not systems, but two different cities now. But when you look at Kellen Moore, his mic'd ups, he's actually got personality. He's actually funny. He actually has, a likability to him that people, I would think, want to play for him.
Right.
But I will go into your see, the reason this is why I didn't go with your boy Johnson.
Okay.
He's comes from the run heavy ilk, which is fine. But I think the Bills did really well when Josh Allen was throwing the majority of the game. So I don't really have a lot of time for the run. And we got James Cook, who can be another receiver. Yeah. And can run. So I know I have the utmost respect for Johnson over in Detroit, but I think I would like to have a guy that wants to air it out a little more. And obviously with Herbert, you got Eckler, which is kind of like our Cook over here. So I just like how they run it. And Slowick, obviously, they got Devin Singletary, and I mean they really don't have a running back, so they don't
have a run game. Period. I think that's why they throw it all the time.
Exactly, they just take it down there. They just toss it.
Yeah.
And they're the Air Coryell kind of ilk.
Okay.
So I did but we have to do some tinkering with our wide receivers in order to make this work. Steph Diggs works in everything, but he can't be. He will be the focal receiver, but he can't be what drives that system.
Yeah. So I see where you're going because if you look at what the Bills currently have, a Bobby Slowick or even a Kellen Moore who's got Keenan Allen in over there in LA, I could absolutely see Stephon Diggs being in a Keenan Allen type of role. And Kellen Moore would definitely have experience with that. And then obviously with the Air Coryell, not much changeover would need to happen on the roster. I think you're right. I don't know if that could be said for a Ben Johnson offense. Yes. His offensive line, it's more of a run blocking offensive line, and we have maybe two guys on this line that are really good at run blocking, but I think you've won me over. I think so. If I had to pick one, I think I might say Bobby Slowick just because of his defensive experience, and Brian Daboll had that, and he was great. So
that'd be a win for both of us because I like the D. I like what do you call it? Kind of like a overseer kind of coach.
Yeah.
So Kellen Moore definitely. He has an eye for. If you watch, and I forgot, but I took a look at it last night. You watched. He had one of those Gruden shows when he came out of college out of Boise. Okay. I think he was what was he? He was the highest something in college history at the time. Maybe touchdowns to interception, whatever it was. But Kellen Moore he didn't even have a strong arm, but he made it work. And that's why I hated Boise, not because of him, but because Boise never really had that star player.
Right.
But they were always ranked. They were always unbeatable. They were always like that team was like, oh. It's like the sum of their parts kind of team, and I couldn't stand that because in college you want that guy that just launched them, and
Yeah.
So it was tough to watch, but they were really good.
Okay.
So we're going with say Slowick.
Yeah, let's say Slowick. Slowick's our head coach.
So what are we doing with the offensive coordinator?
You know what? I don't. Do you have a preference? Because I think if Bobby Slowick is the guy, he can just put whoever there. If he's because essentially like what Andy Reid does, what Sirianni does, what even Mike McDaniels, they call the plays. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which fine, let Bobby Slowick call the plays, but you can have another guy that's running the practices and running the individual drills and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I think I can trust a guy like that who has definitely been there, done that on both sides of the ball to find the right guys to put in the right place to handle all of the stuff that that he doesn't really need to focus on.
I mean, I would love to see Joe Brady stay around.
I would, yeah.
And that was something that was something I thought about. We need to go with
your coaches.
That was something I thought about too. And initially when I started this, I was like, whoever it is has to keep Joe Brady because, not because I've seen something in Joe Brady in the last 2 weeks that he's got to be here, but I see a trajectory for him.
Yeah, it's like imagine what he could do with an offensive guy as a head coach.
With an offseason with his system, with his players.
Yeah.
Because we have the majority of the players he needs, but you're looking at if you can add a number 2 receiver, you can add, something somewhere else that we don't know what he likes, what his preference is.
Yep. And all he's done this year is just make minor adjustments to the pre-existing playbook.
Right.
And it's a night and day difference. So yeah, I would take that. I would take that.
Juice.
Okay. Well, I mean, having an offensive-minded head coach means you got to look for a defensive coordinator. Anybody in particular you like?
Okay, here's a name that nobody knows, and maybe you'll have something, but I'm saying Phil Parker, the defensive coordinator from Iowa, University of Iowa.
Oh, I have no idea about that guy.
The reason why I say that is Iowa has no offense whatsoever. They're 8-5 because the defense is, I think, top 5 in the nation. Now they're not really a pass rushing defense, but they're tops in coverman, they're tops in tackling, and that's something that they preach. And I think if you want to have somebody that can coach the defense and can hold up their end of the bargain at all stops against anybody, I think you go there, or the coach from Michigan, which your pops would love. He would be happy with that because he has rooting interest in that team, we'll say. But I think their defensive coordinator in Michigan, he's actually a finalist for the award. I forget the name of the award. I'm so bad at it. But it's like the top assistant coach in the nation.
Okay.
And you're talking about 428 teams. And that's 3 teams per. So you want to do the math in your head, 1,200 players, 1,200 coaches, and you're the top guy.
Yeah.
They have a top flight pass rush, top flight coverman. I mean,
does he have any NFL experience at all? Or?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. But, I mean, I think with regards to what we have to do on defense, it sits them right at home where they have to bring in young guys and coach them up fast. Yeah. So I think that's something that we definitely need on defense. And if we have the offense that we had in 2020, highest scoring, our defense wasn't that great only because they were always trying to stop a team that's trying to catch us.
Right.
So if we can return to that, you can almost put one of those 2 guys and coach them up. And I went college because it's going to be some time before they can go for an NFL head coaching job. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think, and really, anybody that is in the league right now on a defensive coaching staff that's good enough to do that job, it would probably be a lateral move for them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I thought about too.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be worth it, especially with aging players on this defense, and the defense has got to be overhauled within the next 2 years anyway. I think you're absolutely right. I think you knocked it out of the park again, man. So I think we'll stick with that guy and
that guy and those other ones.
Yeah. I like it. So okay, so we've got. I mean, do we need to go special teams coordinator? You want to?
No.
Okay.
No. I didn't have that.
We could just say keep Smiley for that.
Sure.
for all intents and purposes.
It's like Jordan on 95 Live, NBA Live 95 roster special teams.
Yep. Okay, so quarterback, backup quarterback. We know Josh Allen's the QB. Who's your backup?
I'm drafting a quarterback.
Ooh.
I'm drafting a quarterback.
You have anybody in mind, or you just drafted one? You don't have to have anybody in mind. I
actually did. I just got to go to my phone because I did it on my phone.
Okay.
I didn't think about that real quick. Hold on 1 second. What is this guy's name?
So
it's the quarterback from.
I'll read off the free agent quarterbacks for that year. So
I have it. I have Jordan Travis from Florida State.
Jordan Travis.
Yeah, I got him in I did a mock draft. I got him in the 5th round.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I looked at his productivity. I think I don't know if he's going to ever be a starter, but I think that what he does would hold up if we had to have a Josh Allen game where he had to sit out for a shoulder, or elbow, and not worry about losing too much So obviously it's really too early to go too deep into the drafting, but these are just names I'm going to throw out there just to try to fill in some gaps here on the vacancy side.
Okay.
Who do you have free agents though?
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna like this, but I would take Sam Darnold as my backup. I think from what we heard in training camp with him. Excuse me, working. My body's doing all kind of weird stuff right now. Sorry,
I don't know.
But I think with what he has shown in training camp this year, working under an offensive-minded head coach, with a team flush with weapons, what you heard was if Brock Purdy wasn't there, Darnold would be the guy. And really the only reason that Darnold didn't take over that job is because Purdy is who Purdy is, right? And they respected that, which all the applause to the Niners for, sticking with the person that, that brought him. But yeah, I think if I had to pick a guy that is in the league, I would take Sam Darnold. I think he's still young enough. At age 26 at that point. I think he's still friends with Josh Allen too. Not that that's a reason why I would bring him in, but
it's the reason why McDermott would though.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, you would probably get your wish there.
Okay. Be that as it may.
It wasn't even a shot at him. It's just that's just the trend. And when you got to understand. I mean, a lot of things that McDermott does, I don't agree with. But things like having your franchise quarterback moderately happy, especially if it can help the team in small increments, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So I'm likening right now, and this is just me. The website is not doing this. I'm likening his play to a Ryan Tannehill, and probably a little bit better if he had some weapons, because we saw with Tannehill when he had AJ Brown and I don't remember the other receiver's name, but when he had an offense around him, they were deep playoff potential Super Bowl caliber team with Ryan Tannehill. So Tannehill's market value, because they don't have one for Darnold yet, but Tannehill's market value next year is $4.9 million. Would you take that for Darnold as a backup?
Yeah, 4 point. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I
thought that was decent.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you're looking at outside of Tannehill and Darnold, Jacoby Brissett again, who's 30 next year. Tyrod Taylor, who once again is out there.
I'm
Marcus
not
Mariota.
letting Jameis Winston anywhere near this team.
Jameis Winston would just be. I would buy season tickets just to watch him
just
dance.
to see him.
Did you see?
W?
Did you see when Ludacris came down from the Raptors at the game and they showed him on the sidelines losing his? He was like dancing. And, yeah, he's a different cat. He's a fun. I think did I put it on our page? No, maybe I didn't.
I remember I seen it somewhere, but I didn't see him.
He was over there having a ball.
Yeah. Would you take Joshua Dobbs on this team as a backup?
I don't know what his pricing would be though.
They don't have it on here.
They
do.
Do they?
His market value.
Oh yeah, $2 million.
$7.3 million.
See, that's what I'm saying. 7.3. That's a lot. I can't go that high.
Yeah.
I'm looking at probably in the 2 range is about as high as I can go.
Okay.
So yeah, that would fit.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So we got our backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go to running back. And are you keeping James Cook as your number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you in the business of making James Cook a 3-down back, or are you gonna go with the running back by committee?
No. Well, that's a slippery slope, because if we're running an Eric Coryell or we're running something where he's in constant routes, third, the 3-down back, yeah, I could see him out there. But let me ask you this: what do they do with Austin Eckler though over in LA? Is he a 3-down back, or is he situational? What do they do with him? I really don't know.
He's been a 3-down back for the last 2 years. The only thing that really held him out of that has been injuries.
Okay.
But they don't pull him off the field anymore with his receiving ability and all. You know what I mean?
And that's where I'm going with it. James Cook can open the field on 3rd and 2, 3rd, and somebody can convince Josh to throw that flat out there,
right,
or throw that short middle. I'm definitely going with Cook. So yeah, I think we'd be looking at somebody with a little more size to him for the goal line.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, Cook would be my almost bell cow, I guess you would call him.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when you look at what the Bills do with Murray this year, and you hear how they talk about Ken Dorsey. I forgot what show out. This might have been. This might have been. I don't know. I don't need to remember that to say the point. The point was Ken Dorsey's use of his blockers. He preferred to keep 6-7 guys in to block and run 3 routes or have 3 guys running route concepts. Whereas, Joe Brady has kind of done the opposite of that. Let's put more weapons out there attacking the defense and creating space and giving Josh, more opportunity to see guys come open. I think that's got to be the way to go. I think the way they've used Murray so far this year, it's almost as if McDermott prefers that safe guy staying in to block for Josh when – really, let's be honest. I think Josh is capable of taking care of himself in the pocket. If it's your line you don't trust, go get a better line.
I think what it is. Well, I agree. But what I think they're crippling, like you said, they're crippling the offense when you do that because you could have Cook. Like I said, if you had a viable number 2, which in games where he gets off or when he shows that he could be a threat. You don't have guys that can stay home and just watch the short middle of the field. So, you have Kincaid taking your safeties out. You have Diggs doing what he does. You got whoever your number 2 is, and that lets James Cook roam right there for 2-3 open yards, and he's gonna make somebody miss.
Yeah.
So, I think the adjustment from having that blocker, I see Murray, Harris was supposed to be, to somebody that actually can be a receiving threat would pay dividends.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so do we need to put a backup running back there that could do the same things James Cook does, or would you prefer to have a thunder and lightning type of situation?
I would like to have somebody. I would like if we were running 3 running backs. I would like to have 2 James Cooks and a thumper. So in essence, your answer your question would be to have a guy that can get busy out there in open spaces like Cook when he wants to blow, because McDermott. We're assuming he's not here anymore, but. I'm going to slide back every once in a while in terms of keeping guys in rotations to keep people fresh.
Yeah.
What better position could it be than a running back to be fresh when the defense is getting tired? Especially a speed back, somebody that can get out there and make people miss when they're already sucking air.
Yeah. Would you take A.J. Dillon for $3.5 million?
What do you call him? Thunder. What is his name? Thunder Thigh?
I don't know, but that's a
Mega
big
Thigh
boy.
or something like that.
That is a big boy.
You said $3 million?
3.5.
Yeah, because I was looking at a 24-year-old Cam Akers who's been riddled with attitude issues and stuff like that. But is it just where he's playing, or is there something more? I don't know.
I think for him it was usage, because he was the guy in LA, and they started putting other guys in there because of his attitude, and he had a problem with his playing time, and that's when he got the boot. Yeah.
Then in that case, a cheaper A.J. Dillon. How old is he?
25. Where's Dillon? He is right here. He is 25 next year.
Okay, yeah, cheaper than Cam Akers, yeah, and like I said, A.J. Dillon's used to running behind somebody, so I don't think you have a problem running behind, especially in a Buffalo system that a couple pieces will get you to that promised land.
Yeah, no doubt.
Green Bay right now, Jordan Love and their rebuilding process, obviously evident by Rasul Douglas being in Buffalo and them getting rid of people.
Right.
We have more of a chance at making any kind of noise in 2024 even than Green Bay does.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones got that nice big contract that they gave him I think it was last year.
Yep.
So they're probably not going to pay Dillon. I can't see them doing that. Mm-mm. But okay. So is there anybody else? So you were saying Cam Akers. Are we settling on Dillon, or
I would go with Dillon. What about J.K. Dobbins?
Ooh. How does he look after the injury?
That's the thing with a $2.2 million. I mean, right now it'd be
You willing to see for 2.2?
Yeah, I mean, $2 million is boomer bust. So
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't a year we can really just go ahead and take chances. But I mean, that'd be a hard one to pass on.
Oh, I was looking at DeAndre Swift, but 5.4 is not going to do it for me.
Yeah, I saw his name. I said, wow. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
they actually might keep him though. Why wouldn't they?
Would you? Let me see here. Let me see. Oh my gosh, Derrick Henry's at 9.5 next year.
And he's 30. I didn't know he was 30.
I mean,
Well,
that's why
29.8,
I
yeah.
would say like backup. Like I
Yeah.
mean, all time goal line back right there. You know what I'm saying? The Cook, listen, just go relax.
Yo, we got this man right here. He's bigger than some of them linebackers.
right.
Yeah, I mean, he be bust number 2.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying like I might be interested in Rashad Penny, but he's a big back with a small back mentality.
I really like Penny coming out of college, but I think his time is past in my.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this would be for a backup position, but
Yeah, I think if we're gonna go, I think we probably go with AJ Dillon.
would you take Zach Moss back?
Absolutely, I would take. Zach
Really?
Moss.
You would?
I would have never let him go.
So he is going to be an unrestricted free agent, but would you? He'll be 25, and right now his market value is listed at 2 years, 9.26 million. So 4.6 a year.
I wouldn't say no because we've seen now what he can do given a chance.
Oh man, and he's going to be starting again this coming Sunday.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. We've seen what he can do given a chance. I mean,
Yeah.
the man is unreal right now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, well, I shouldn't even say that because anybody, and this is another. You know what? Let's add that to the list. Salt alert. Let's add that to the list of failures.
Okay.
Give one Zach Moss too.
He sure did.
I mean, I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear. Oh, no, because why is it he goes somewhere else and right away does things
Right.
So yeah, so that one without being too.
I mean, heck,
salty on it.
Singletary is balling right now.
Singletary is good, and see the thing about Singletary, and the people that know me, I rag on Singletary left and right because Singletary to me wasn't the kind of guy I wanted starting. I didn't mind him on the team,
Right.
but I didn't want him getting the majority. See, I would love for him to have been a 1B to Cook or something like that, because you see what Cook does in the same opportunities, but with that speed, with the wiggle. and you know, everybody they were lauding Singletary like they were lauding Trent Edwards way back in the day.
Yeah.
But you're missing something. You know, you're missing something. You can't see the forest through the trees because you got the same dude right here and off in the cup that you benched because you got this dude.
If he can't burn linemen, man, like
Right.
he can shake them out of their ankles, but if you can't get away from him, huh?
Didn't they take him down?
Yeah, with one hit, with one arm.
Remember the time where he got taken down? He shook somebody and they got up and tracked him down. I think it was a Denver game.
No, but
he
that
shook
was
him, dropped
probably
him,
amazing.
and tried to take off, and the guy got up and like tracked him down.
It's got to be embarrassing.
It's
like
horrible.
that, you probably get made fun of in your own locker room for something like that.
After that, oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my
for sure.
gosh.
When they run tape, oh yeah,
Right.
they roast you. For
You
that.
let him get up and get you. That's a lineman, bro. What you doing?
Right, they roast you for that.
Yeah.
So I think man, Zach Moss or AJ Dillon would be
Yeah, it would be ideal. I think I would take either one happily. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to even touch fullback? Are we?
nah, scrap that.
All right, cool. So wide receiver it is.
Actually, I drafted Keon Coleman from Florida State.
Okay.
With the first pick, they gave us 16. And
What type of receiver is he?
He's a big boy, 6'3", 215. Yes, I thought you would like him. Great value. Let's see if I can pull his stats for you real quick, and I know you want to see that.
Yes.
Let's see.
Size already got me interested.
I
Big
already
boy.
know. I already know.
Big boy.
Florida State.
Potential number 1 or 1B.
Mm-hmm. Where are we? You go ahead if you got some thoughts for you.
So I'll kind of read off some of the names, and like none of these guys really strike me as, aside from maybe 2 or 3 people, the guys that I was looking at that are free agents, and I don't know if the Jaguars would allow this, but Calvin Ridley is a free agent next year, and he's only looking at $14.6 million for his market value. I mean, that's what we were talking about paying Gabe Davis.
Yeah, if they gave, I mean, if people were saying Gabe Davis's market value is $12 million, if he gets $12 million, dude, I probably would blow a gasket.
He's on this list. Let me see if I can find him.
You go ahead
and see his market.
And while you're
value.
doing that,
Yep,
I
right
have.
here. They don't have it. They don't have it.
I got your. Like I said,
Okay.
Keon Coleman, 6'4", 215. I'm sorry.
Even better.
So let's see. I have him. Where are we now? He has 46 receptions for 639 yards, 11 touchdowns. He doesn't really drop anything. He lines up on the outside.
One specific side, or does he move around?
I think one specific side.
Okay.
I mean, but even still, if you got a training camp with a guy, you can show him the ropes.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and let's not forget about Justin Shorter. He's still on the team, so I mean, he might be able to do something. I really don't know what he does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I didn't watch Florida a ton.
I would take both of those dudes on the outside and just let Diggs just crush people.
Yeah,
over the
I
middle.
mean, you could do that. Easily could do that. But to your point, what were you saying about who were we looking at?
I was just looking at a few of these free agent wide receivers in the NFL. T. Higgins, I think he might price us out.
He's because he's going to get number one money.
Well, they're saying right now his market value is $16.4 million. That's
like
not
1B.
bad.
No, that's like 1B.
Yeah, I think I would take that if he's willing to be a 1B. He might want to be the guy on a team.
And in Buffalo, I mean, you really could be, because we're seeing Stephon Diggs. He doesn't seem like a sore sport when somebody else is taking a shine as long as they're winning. See, when they're winning, I don't think he cares as much. When they're losing, that's when you see things fall apart. And if you watch, the Shakira touchdown, you watch the Kincaid stories, who was the first one over there? Steph Diggs.
Right.
I think Kincaid almost knocked his helmet off when he was celebrating with him because, but people got to realize, and I'm going to say this is a gray area, and this might cause tension. I don't know, but I don't think Steph Diggs in the scope of restructuring is a smart move. Only because I don't think that he's going to want to be here that much longer.
Yeah.
So and that's fine. That's fine, and that's no shade.
But
on
maybe
Steph
if
Diggs
the coaches change and the offensive philosophy changes, that might be different.
But he turned 30 today, I think. So his contract takes him until he's 33 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But even then, you still got to think about who's that number two going to number one.
Right.
So I think Steph Diggs, you don't want to push him out further because you don't want him to be the albatross on your cap when he's no longer in Buffalo, because it's going to be a sizable number. I think you just die by the sword on that one and just let it play out.
Yeah.
If he wants to stay here for the duration, perfect. He says he's gonna retire at Bill. We'll see, but I don't want to leave that to chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, T. Higgins, man, 4 years, $65.62 million, or it'll be 6.3 if you're rounding. But I would take T. Higgins for that money. His comps, his stat comps are Mike Williams from the Chargers, Michael Gallup from the Cowboys, Christian Kirk from the Jaguars, and Chris Godwin from Tampa Bay. Listen. Whatever keeps him at 16.4, I'll take it, right? Because if you go to the next guy that I was looking at, and I thought this guy would be significantly less, is Michael Pittman. Guess how much the market value is for Michael Pittman?
I'm thinking he's going to get number one money.
$23.5 million. His statistical comps, this list is insane. Okay, I need y'all to understand. Like, put your listening ears on.
not the listening ears.
Cooper Kupp. It gets better. A.J. Brown.
From Michael Pittman?
It gets better. Stephon Diggs.
It gets better? Jesus?
It gets better. DK Metcalf.
Where are they basing that on?
I don't know. So they're looking at
Michael Pittman. I mean, I know he's
what is
adequate.
what is GP percentage?
What's that?
What is GP percentage?
What are you looking at?
I'm on, what is this? Spotrac.
Hold on a second here. I gotta pull it up.
So Reception targets, roughly the same. He gets about 9.3, if you round it, 9.4 targets a game. His receptions per game, he gets about 6.5 if you're rounding.
Mm-hmm.
His receiving yards per game, he gets almost 63 yards of receiving per game. I mean,
I'm thinking his games. I can't see it, but I'm thinking his games played percentage of games played.
okay, so I mean, yeah, that's up there because Cooper Kupp is at 96, AJ Brown is at 81, Steph Diggs is at 100, DK Metcalf is at 100.
Mm-hmm.
The targets are they're roughly the same. Cooper Kupp is at 9.84 and Michael Pittman is at 9.36.
I think Pittman, if you're a fantasy head, you're not gonna like him.
No, I had him. I traded.
I've had
him.
him. I have him all the time. But Pittman is almost like Ben Roethlisberger in fantasy. He wins every game you play, but it's the ugliest win you'll ever see. You never get the points you want, so it skews your thoughts on the guy. Now, actually,
but he would be a good number 2 though, just not for number 1. Just not for number 1 month.
Great number 2,
right?
But that's for a team that has hella money and not a franchise quarterback. See, that's the thing people got to realize too. Buffalo is not used to the realm of having a franchise quarterback, so. They're like, well, we, even years past before Josh, we always had that one position that wasn't making the top money.
Yeah.
That's why you could give that. And everybody complain, why is our cornerback the most expensive player? Because you don't have a franchise quarterback. You don't have that $50 million allocated to one person.
Yep.
So it was nice. Even with Mario Williams, even with guys of that ilk, Stephon Diggs and people of that nature. When we had them, you didn't have to pay that one guy. That's why you could do all the things you did.
Right. So, I mean, that those are the 3 guys I was looking at: Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, and Calvin Ridley. If he even been, I don't even know why they would let him become available.
Yeah,
but.
I would probably do. I would love to do Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley would almost be like another Steph Diggs.
Right. Imagine 2 of those guys on the field at the same time. Oh my God.
A faster version of Steph Diggs. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, by the numbers, we got a really realistic shot at T. Higgins if we wanted to go all in on offense.
Mm-hmm.
If we wanted to do it that way, I'm still on your side in terms of they're probably going to draft a guy.
I'd be fine with that. Cost control, young.
Yep.
It's boom or bust
and
for real, though.
You can get 2 or 3 of them, and you still got one in the waiting, and Justin Shorter to come in too.
Yes, sir. And Khalil, like I said before, Khalil Shakir could be that number 2 option.
Oh, he's got to stay. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think we're good there. So we have we'll say Calvin Ridley will add.
Okay. All right. I'm with it. Yeah, because for the money, 14.6, I'll take it all day.
Mm-hmm.
Tight end.
I kind of left that status quo. I kind of left that.
So you keep Knox?
Not keep Knox. Yeah.
Okay.
Cutting. I mean, there's no reason to really cut Knox. I mean, he's okay. Let's not let his money fool us. I mean, money wise, you're not going to save a lot of money by trading him. Cutting him, you're still going to have I think $11 million on your dead.
Yeah, I don't think he has enough value to really get something big on a trade.
No, I mean, even as part of something, just the fact that he's $14 million, I could see Knox going somewhere and being used correctly.
Yes.
Because you've seen, I mean, let's take a step back. Yes, he has some dropsies, but it's not as many as people would think. It just seems like magnified because he doesn't get the targets that a lot of tight ends get.
Yeah.
He had 3 drops last year. The year before that, I think he had 9 or something like that at some point. But it's getting better. When they targeted him, what did he have? 9 touchdowns one season.
Yeah,
and he can block. You can credit Spencer Brown's successes this year directly correlating to a Dawson Knox flanking him. So, I mean, he has a lot of value for somebody that really knows what they're looking at. I mean, this offensive line is lauded as one of the better offensive lines right now, which I don't struggle with, but at the same time, I'm kind of leery to say because we're watching and we know what they're doing to mask certain deficiencies. Yeah. Deficiencies, I ran out of breath. But I was about to tunnel. But Connor Montgomery's on the team, which I didn't realize he was only 25, 26 years old. So, so I guess I will give him and Spencer Brown grace. But we still diverting back to our tight end talk, you can mask their deficiencies in other ways. Spencer Brown, Dawson Knox being one of those ways. I love to see when he comes back what he can do, because he's played through 2 injuries now that we found out after the fact. This wrist injury that I know exactly where he re-aggravated. It was that play where he dropped the ball over the middle. He got crushed. He got his wrist hit.
Yeah.
And he kept playing. But then we find out, he must have a broken bone in his hand or whatever it is. And he did that the game when he threw the 2-point conversion to Josh Allen. I forget what game it was exactly.
He did that with a broken wrist?
He threw it with his left hand.
Wow.
Because his right hand was broken.
Wow.
The guy is tough. So people ragging on the guy. I mean, okay, he's not Dalton Kincaid.
Okay.
I'm not talking about you. I mean,
he can stay.
Because we've talked. Dalton Kincaid,
but
you
I know
can't compare him to Kincaid. That's the thing. Kincaid, they're two different apples and oranges, two different kind of guys.
I've wanted a guy like Kincaid, and having him, it's like the only thing that bothers me about Knox now. I like his style of play. I love his style of play, I should say. I really do. I love his physical style of play. Mm-hmm. Do I wish he could catch, like Kincaid? Yes, because he would be the best tight end in the NFL if he could. But I think right now it's just the money. I mean, obviously we always want to see the best bang for the buck, and I think that's the only thing with Dawson Knox that you can point to and say, yeah, maybe I could get a little bit more.
You know? I mean, I understand. I get it. And that's definitely something that you want to always look for. I don't care if you're Dalton Kincaid. I don't care if you're playing out of your mind. I want somebody that can push.
Yeah.
Can keep pushing, because that's how you get better. You push. But yeah, so I think I definitely would keep Dawson Knox. Let me get this up because I'm trying to illustrate what happens if you try to cut him. Dawson Knox, if you will say you release him, we're at negative 42 right now. Mm-hmm. We'll just cut him. That actually, we lose $5.8 million if we cut him.
Jeez.
So it takes us down to $48 million. If you trade him, I just want to pop back in for a second. If you trade Dawson Knox, where are you, sir? Oh, wait. Let me go back because he's gone now because I cut him. Mm-hmm. Bear with me just a moment because this was not planned, but we got it. Update. If we try to trade him, we end up. We'll just say, I don't know, just for giggles, we'll trade him to Cincy for I don't know what. We'll say a draft pick.
A draft pick?
Yeah, we'll just say a draft pick. So I'll click this. Because he is $1,000, so we don't have draft picks on here. But
right, because we're trying to free up cap space.
Right.
Okay.
So we would save $2 million if we traded him for a draft pick, but you would end up having to pay that draft pick. So you would actually still lose money.
Nah, I mean, so what do you what level draft pick do you think we can get for Dawson Knox right now?
Actually, you're right. No, we wouldn't lose. We would still make. We would probably be, as opposed to saving $2.6 million, you probably save 2.3.
Yeah, because I'm thinking you can probably get like a third round pick, maybe.
For Dawson Knox?
Yeah.
If you could get a third round pick for Dawson Knox, I probably would.
I think Bean could. I do. I mean, Knox, like we've seen, Dawson Knox is a good tight end.
No, I agree. I just don't know what his market value would be, especially at $14 million.
Do we? I wonder if there's a way to see that right now.
Market value?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Only way I can. I don't know.
All right.
But regardless,
yeah. Let's just table that for now. Let's move to offensive line.
Okay, so offensive line. What we could do, Mitch Morse.
Out of there, boy.
We could get rid of Mitch Morse, or let's try this. I'm just curious. What would a base restructure do? I'm not restructuring anything.
I was about to say his contract is up. He's done.
He's done in 25.
25?
Yeah, he's got one more year.
I don't think there's any dead cap though if you cut him. If I'm not mistaken. Let me hold on. It's
you cut him, you make $620,000.
Right, but you clear $11 million off the books. Right? Oh, that's this year. Hold on.
So let me see here. Let's reset this.
Yeah, $11.5 million gets cleared off the books.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to run this here. What was the Mitch Morse we were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so we cut him. Yeah, so you end up you save $8.5 million.
Yep. Okay, I read that right. Yep. So I mean, shoot, bye.
You could, because
But
honestly, I drafted, and I keep going to my phone. Actually, you know what? I don't even know why I say it anymore, because you guys have been watching. You know, when I look down at my phone, you know I'm doing stuff. Actually, in the third round, I took the center from Georgia,
Cedric
Van Pran.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my thinking is Mitch Morris is gone. Ryan Rick, Stephen Bates. He will be. He can compete with somebody with Van Pran from Georgia to start at center. Bates, obviously, he's a pricier backup, so you would want him to be a starter at this point in time, even for a year, a holdover year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my thought process with Mitch Morris. I want somebody that can anchor better against those bigger D tackles. I want somebody that, I don't really need, especially if we have a new offensive coordinator. A new coach, new philosophy. I don't need a guy that's gonna pull all the time. If you give me a head up blocker, I can take that. We can work with that. James Cook has shown that he can run up the A gap. He's shown that he can run up the B gap.
Yep.
So, you really don't need somebody that's going to pull to the outside if Deion Dawkins can seal the way he's supposed to.
Okay. I'm gonna look at, just for covering both sides, I'm gonna look at some of the guys that we have in free agency in the NFL. What do you think about a guy like, I don't know, Trent Brown?
Who's that?
Trent Brown.
Trent Brown. How old is he?
He'll be 30 next year.
Okay.
His salary this year is 6.5.
6.5. Okay. I mean, yeah. Are you talking about backup, or are you talking about
As a right tackle.
starter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he could compete with Spencer for the right tackle spot. I'm not going to snatch the spot from Spencer, but I don't want him to just go in there saying, yeah, it's definitely my spot. If you got to get the 39 treatment, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to set you off right now, but if you're going to get, I don't want the 39 treatment. I don't want you to bring in competition and then by default you somehow win against everybody. You're beating all pros. You're beating everybody put in your face. Draft picks: Dane Jackson, Josh Norman. What was the guy? Kelvin Johnson from Houston. Levi just had a stranglehold on that position. And if Spencer wins it, fine. You have a quality backup, maybe even a swing tackle. But Tommy Doyle will be back, and Tommy Doyle can play something. Assuming the thing about Spencer and Tommy Doyle as well, I may as well say, is the height is a detriment. Normally 6 foot 8 inch guys that are carrying 300 pounds are not athletic. So that's a lot of strain, a lot of bend, a lot of mess on their ligaments, their knees, their backs, things like that. That's what you're seeing with these bigger guys. And they're not, like I said, they're both high cut. So like me, we're not built to carry a lot of weight. We're built slender. So there's a cap on how much weight you can add to somebody's body, and if you're telling me that Spencer Brown was a tight end, that tells me he was a lot smaller when he went to Northern Iowa. So he has to find his middle ground. Because he's strong as an ox. The guy is a 500-pound bench presser. The guy is a 600-pound squatter. His power clean is like over 350 or whatever it is.
Wow.
400 pounds, whatever it is. So he's strong as all get out. But I worry about his body weight. I need somebody to be more of a technical technician with him when it comes to how to maneuver. If he has to take Krav Maga or whatever it is to get the guy's hands off of him. Because I think what was this guy? Weaver from University of Pittsburgh, defensive end. He took that to learn the art of keeping hands off of him. And that plays into the football game, especially in the trenches. They can't beat what they can't touch.
Right.
So I think somebody really needs to zero in on Spencer Brown because his untapped talent, his RAS score, he can do everything, but it's something between the ears right now. Maybe the game's still moving too fast for him. Maybe he's got to work somewhere else.
Or maybe the back. Fully healed.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you take a guy like Connor Williams, the center out of Miami?
I would take Connor. I would take Connor Williams. I don't think Miami will let him go though.
Okay.
They love Connor Williams over there.
They're saying market value is $13.5 million.
Yeah, they love Connor Williams. I don't know if
they can afford that though.
No, they love him over there. So I don't see him even escaping.
Okay. Who? Well, okay. All right. We'll let that one go.
What?
I don't see how they can afford to keep him.
I think he's the kind of guy they would restructure because they have a young team, so they could restructure some people.
Okay.
But I really think that would be a guy that they actually might cut people for. That's how much they cover him, and that's from me listening to Miami podcast.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, there's really, I mean, guys like Tyron Smith, there's no market value for him right now, but his average salary this year is $12.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that in 2024. That might be something that I played around with the idea of in 2025, but I can't go there.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Kelsey is also available. I think he's finishing his career with Philly. I don't think he's going anywhere else. I don't think he has a desire to go anywhere else. Dwayne Brown is 38 and can't bend anymore. No, thank you. Jonah Williams, you can tell his arms are just too short for the position.
Oh, yeah.
He needs
that
to
was
be
him coming
guard.
out of college. His arms are short.
Yeah, and then Aaron Brewer was another guy that is a younger guy. He plays with Tennessee right now. His average annual salary next year would be $5.2 million, but he's got comps to Patrick McCarry, who is in Baltimore, I think, right now. Yeah, he's in Baltimore. He's got comps to the Steelers center and the Commanders center and Arizona's center. Not teams that I am interested in copying at this point.
I'm good on those.
Okay, so I will say for me, I would like to replace the center and the right tackle if I can.
Take a shot at it. Yeah.
Otherwise, I think for 2024, I just roll with, my left tackle, my left guard, and my right guard. Those would be the only two spots that I would want to change up. Okay, so we're good to move to defense?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, let's move to defense. So we're going to start with edge rusher.
Okay.
Do you see any moves that you know are just like, yep, the Bills are going to do that?
No. But I can tell you they're going to do something because they have next to nothing on the defensive line next year. You're looking at Epenesa's gone. You're looking at Leonard Floyd's gone. Daquan Jones, they still haven't done anything with, so I'm going to say he's gone. Tim Settle's gone. Jordan Phillips is gone.
Jeez.
So that leaves you with what?
Everybody gone.
Yeah, it leaves you with Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, Kingsley Jonathan.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Ed Oliver, obviously. And I guess Elianku makes it.
Jeez, he would have to at that point. Jeez.
Let me see if while you're talking. I think I pulled one in the draft. I pulled the edge from Colorado State, Muhammad Kamara.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm just pulling names right now. If you guys want to research them, in the interest of our time on the show, we're going to probably talk more about pro guys because there's not really a lot of literature on these guys out of college yet. But I can tell you Kamara is a productive guy on the outside, a little undersized, but you can use him as a situational pass rusher, which will get you the quarterback. I think I'm looking for somebody that can pin their ears back because we've established time and time again. Oh, I forgot. Shaq Lawson's gone too.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
everybody.
So, you could bring a Shaq Lawson back if you wanted to, probably give him a little more than a league minimum. If you want to bring Leonard Floyd back, he's 31. I don't know what kind of you're looking at probably $12 million a season now, so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that.
Yeah, I'm not done with him as a player, but because we have the money that we have or lack thereof, because let's not get it twisted. The guy was productive. He came in with his hair on fire as soon as he got in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think if you're pulling up the defensive ends, I really want to focus on guys because the bendy guys are the harder finds these days. So I mean, we could always go out and I'm not going to say we can always go out, but it's easier to find that run stuff. Like I said, throw $3 million to Shaq Lawson for one more season if you want it, because he made 1.7 or whatever it was last year. Give him a little incentive for coming back and being part of the process, if you will. But I want to focus around, believe it or not, Greg Rousseau and another edge rusher, Von Miller. And this is not to say Von Miller is done in Buffalo. That's not where I'm going at all. But I just don't want to talk about him because he's 34 years old with the ACL and an Achilles tear that people say you never come back from. I don't know what I can trust him to do. So he's on the hook, so I'll just keep him on the team, but I want somebody to succeed him. I want him to work with somebody that has a similar skill set. Obviously, you're not going to bring somebody in that's a Pro Bowl Hall of Famer right away, but I want somebody that he can work with in his own wheelhouse.
Could I interest you in one Chase Young?
Is he free?
He will be a free agent in 2024.
Why did they trade? Why did they?
His market value is 13.6. 2 years at $27 million.
I don't know. Chase Young kind of seems like that guy like we were talking about. I mean, if you said Montez Sweat, I'd be like, yeah. Chase Young is kind of like
Chicago's got the money. They probably don't let.
No,
that
I'm saying he's not getting out of there. But yeah. I'm just saying if you said that, because like I said, Chase Young is not really that bendy guy. So
yeah, but the comp they have him at right now, as far as his stats, statistically, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, like those dudes get numbers. You know what I mean? Like they get stats. Chase Young, he's got. Let me see. He's good for half a sack a game. He gets 1.5 tackles per game, and this might be for this season.
I got it. I mean, I can pull it up here. Okay. Let's see. So Chase Young, he had in his career he has 16 sacks. That's four seasons. He played. Let's see, to keep it. He only had 63 pass for his snaps in 2022. So that was a year cut short. He had no sacks a year. He has 8 sacks so far this year. 34 hurries. This number, 25% missed tackling. That's tough for me. But as a defensive end that rushes, I still need him to finish the play.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would be as high on Chase Young as a lot of people. If you look at his pass rush grades on PFF, they're hit or miss. They're okay. He had a good game against Chicago, good game against Denver, and the Giants. But you're looking at Atlanta, Philly, us. He did nothing against us, and Philadelphia again. He just didn't perform. So I have to take a look at who he's playing against. And at $13 million a season, I definitely need somebody that, at this point in time, is going to give me at least 8 to 9 sacks a season. And I know he has health issues from time to time, so that's just be a risky investment for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna do you like they do you at the car dealership, right? So okay, so we got 13. We got 13.6 here, right? Would you take Brian Burns from the Panthers for $23.4 million
over 2 years?
Over 5 years. So 5 years, $117 million.
How old is he now?
25.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I do that.
Woo! You think we could pencil that in?
Let's pencil it in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes. I love it. All right, Brian Burns, it is 25 years old, out of Carolina. We have stolen him from the Panthers for $23.4 million annually. Average annual.
You're looking at his lowest. I'm not going to count this year because it's not over yet, but you're looking at his lowest sack production is his rookie year. He had 8. 10 in his second year, 9 in 2021, 13 in last year. His missed tackles, he's at about 15.9 for his career, which is a little high, but I'll take it, especially when you're not paying $13 million a season for a guy who's, if you look at his pass rush snaps, he looks like he's had I'll use my word, robust sample of pass rushing. He has no less than 289 his rookie year, which he was sharing. So that tells me he's relatively healthy, and he can get to the quarterback, especially with the Ed Oliver and a defensive tackle of our choosing in there. Let's do it.
I love it. I love it so much. All right, so we got our bookends. We got our bookends. We got Rousseau on the field. Do we even need to bother signing up Anessa at that point?
Nope.
Okay, I'm with it, and that's perfectly fine with me. So Brian Burns it is playing across.
Yep.
Huh?
And draft a backup or whatever.
Yeah, totally. All right, so let's move to
want to do inside line?
1 tech, because we know we ain't touching that 3 tech. I saw on NFL.com Ed Oliver is the number 1 rated defensive tackle right now.
He's a beast.
He's tied with Quinnen Williams for 16 pressures against double coverage.
Mm-hmm. He's a beast.
Like, that is monstrous.
Astronomical. And
he's making the Pro Bowl this year.
Oh yeah, you look at the contract discrepancy or the contract disparity there. That's I told you when we signed him. I think we had that conversation, and I said I think that contract we actually got away with one. $16 million versus what Quinnen Williams got at the time. You know, and I remember thinking.
But we also didn't think we were going to get this production out of him.
Well, we didn't think we would. I felt like he got an average contract, and I thought he, staying healthy. I thought he was at least an average D lineman.
Yeah.
That I wanted to keep around. So I'm happy with the fact that he's producing. I'm happy with the fact that he's not happy with his money, and that shows on the field. He's not complaining about it, but he's showing I want more. There's more meat on the bone. So that's why you see him producing, and he's going to get that money if he keeps doing what he's doing. Because, everybody, Ed Oliver's he's not getting, what do you expect? What do you expect? The guy is doing his job and then some. Because once again, no 1 tech, which I've been screaming for forever, and he's still getting busy.
Right.
So let me get the 1 tech. Yes. I mean, it's not going to be, unless they do something with Daquan Jones and you're still with him, you're looking at $8 million. So at least he's probably looking more like, because he was number 5 rated, number 5 rated defensive tackle pass rusher. So you're looking at probably now more like $10 million, and he's 33, I think he is now.
Yeah.
So you're looking at least 2 years at $10 million a pop. Yes, that's a little rich for my blood. Who else is out there? So that's kind of where we're gonna go now and see what we can do at that position. You got any names out there to pop out at you?
Free agency doesn't look so great.
No, and I saw that too. I was hoping you were going to tell me something different, but I didn't see anything I liked out of free agency.
I mean, unless you want to go with an older Fletcher Cox, and even then, at his, what? To be honest, I would not be against bringing back both Linval Joseph and Daquan Jones.
I was going to say Linval Joseph. Definitely ask him to see if he wants one more go. You have to sweeten the pot a little bit. Don't give him vet mental. But he's at 3.4 or something like that now. Yeah. So I definitely would want
see if
to
he'll do it for 4, 4.5.
Right.
Yeah.
Get 4.5. Tell him don't give him the Anquan Bolden treatment. Tell him we're going to give you this many snaps or whatever the case may be. This is what we're thinking. Are you interested? And I should say don't give him the Craig Anderson treatment, which is the goalie for the Sabres the last 3 years when it was supposed to be 1.
Right.
It's only one goal. 1 year he stayed around forever.
We'll call that the Anquan Bolden method.
Yeah. So we'll keep Linval. If you're listening, Linval, if anybody knows him, tell him we want him back because he's doing a great job, especially without what they say, he was sitting on somebody's couch, watching the games. I mean, he's not even in shape, and that's not even a slight at him. That's not even me, coming throwing shade at him. He wasn't in shape because he didn't plan on playing.
Right.
He had life after football. You see what happened to who's the defensive? The offensive tackle from the Browns, who's now the commentator.
Defensive tackle from the Browns.
Joe Thomas.
Oh, the offensive tackle.
Yeah,
Joe Thomas.
You see what he looks like now. You see what Eric Will is like now. They stopped playing football. They lost like 70 pounds.
Yeah.
They're little as ever.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to play anymore. And they know that the weight is not healthy for them.
Right.
So you're looking at Linval Joseph in that same dynamic. He wasn't prepared. He had life after football going on.
Right. He came back into the league like, I woke up like this.
I'm just going to lean on somebody.
Right. Yeah, he getting it done.
So, we'll for the sake of argument, just try to persuade one of them at least to stay around just to get us to the next year because the college draft didn't look so hot either for defensive tackles, especially when I was comfortable taking one.
Okay. All right. Now, here's what we got to figure out, because you still got Taron Johnson on this team, right? And whoever's going to come in and coordinate this defense is going to have to make a decision. Taron Johnson doesn't have a small contract, right? And defensively, he's probably top 5 as far as nickel corners in the league. For everything that he can do. So
what you could do with Taron Johnson, though, I would be more than confident restructuring his contract.
Okay,
I'd be more than confident giving him a what do you call it? A base restructure. So basically, what that does is that puts the cap number down at the vet min. I can't speak.
Okay,
and everything else gets converted to a signing bonus guarantee. So it would save us a lot of money. And you could dump it in wherever you want. You could dump it into where we have a large amount of reserve for Taron Johnson to get paid. I think he's only 27 or so years old, and he's at the top of his game still. I mean, could you get creative and figure out how to, make him like a move safety kind of cornerback kind of thing? I'm sure you could. And that's all up to the creativity of whoever the DC is going to be. Whether it be McDermott in the real world or in our land where we're going with Phil Parker or something like that. But that's not our job, thank God. That's for them to figure out.
Right. Okay. Man. So the reason I said that is because I'm looking at outside linebackers. If we're gonna stay in nickel, then I think we're set at linebacker. But if we have somebody come in and put us in a base, God forbid we go to a 3-4. I would not want to do that with the players that we currently have.
I thought about that, but I was like, that's going to get too messy. I wanted to play around. I didn't have time to do that though. I wanted to play around with it. I'm like, ooh,
yeah, I know that's your bread and butter right there. But I looking at a guy like what's this guy's name? I don't even know how to say this. K'Lavon Chaisson?
Yeah.
Okay.
K'Lavon.
K'Lavon.
Yeah, K'Lavon.
K'Lavon Chaisson. Okay. That's okay. All right. If you say so. The only comp that I like that he has right now is Zaire Franklin, who is a beast in Indy.
Well, I drafted this guy. I want to show you because the second round, and this guy
Edgerrin on the team.
Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M, 6'3", 230.
Already love it.
He had 10 sacks this season.
Dang.
Yeah, 10 sacks, 12 hurries, 1 bat, 58 tackles. He missed 11 tackles, but that can be cleaned up. 56 stops. A stop is a drive-ending play. So, I mean, for a guy who you could get in the draft, cap controlled, we're talking about deficiencies rushing the quarterback. If you want to really be exotic, you can get your edge rusher here, 6'3", 230. That's a linebacker. He doesn't lose too much in coverage. Okay. But what you're looking at right now, especially if you want to get exotic and blitz, this is somebody you want on your team.
I love it. I mean, you still got the pass rush ability, which is, when Lorenzo Alexander was here, that was his role, and they played a base defense, and the Bills' defense that year, I think, was very, very good in terms of, they didn't seem like a bend but don't break, right? But conceptually they still were, but they were dominant. They were a dominant defense.
They built the front. They built the front 6-7 the right way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they did their job. They got to the quarterback. And that was Jerry Hughes, and that was Mario Addison. That was Lorax, they called him at the time. Kyle Williams. So I mean, you just got to look at the 6 they had in the front then, and look at what you could do now, and tell me you can't build a more talented front 6 than that. You can, and you already have the components to it. Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau, and we'll say Von Miller. For this argument, I'll just say that he's back somewhere, between 6 to 8 sacks a season. But you add in somebody like Edgerrin Cooper, somebody of his equivalent that can get to the quarterback just as well. You're going to see that defense you're talking about again.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm with that. I'll take the draft pick, to be honest, because there's no guarantee that we're going to a base, and even if we don't go to a base, I would still like to have another guy that we got coming up through the pipeline there behind Darius Williams, or Dorian Williams. Sorry,
I was gonna say don't forget about Dorian, because he actually he might thrive in a system that doesn't make him think as much.
Yep, 100%. Okay, so we can just go right past linebacker then there, and we'll go to the secondary. What are we doing at cornerback?
At cornerback, what did I do? I think. Well, I moved on from Tre'Davious. I moved on.
Mm-hmm.
I drafted, who was this? Willie Roberts from Louisiana Tech. I'll pull him up for you, but I think Dane Jackson's gone. You still have what's his name? Christian Benford.
Yep.
You still got Taron Johnson, who should never see an outside of the slot snap, because that's not his wheelhouse. He should be in the slot at all times. You have, I guess you could bring back, Jamarcus Ingram, or, Rasul Douglas. There is a world where you could keep him by base restructuring Josh Allen. He's going to be in Buffalo, so I have no problem doing that. Like I said, Steph Diggs, leave his contract alone. Von Miller, leave his contract alone. Von Miller, because he is older, and I don't want to see Von Miller on the dead cap any longer than 2028, which he is now. I don't want to see 2030, a world where I'm 46 years old and this guy is still on, still making money from the. Well, he's not making money, but he's still counting against the cap on the team.
I'm about to have an aneurysm.
You thought about yourself?
No, I don't know why I did this to myself.
What did you look up?
Levi Wallace is a free agent.
I did know that, and I'm not gonna say a thing.
Oh my God! Do you know who one of his comps are?
Who?
The top name on the list is Rasul Douglas. Just shoot me now.
What?
I'll
save it.
Rasul Douglas.
If McDermott's not here anymore, that was McDermott's boy.
True.
If he's not here anymore, who knows what the value is going to be?
Well, right now his market value is at 5.9,
which is that's good. I mean, honestly, at one point in time, let's be for real, he was Pittsburgh's number one cornerback for a while.
Yeah,
and I mean, he was making like 4 point something when he left here. A number one cornerback is usually over 10, somewhere near at least 15. And to get a guy that has seen it, has done it for a number of years, on good defenses, including Buffalo's, for $5 million, I would listen to it. And that's not because I was a Levi fan. I really was. But, objectively speaking, I think you could do worse. And they kept bringing back Josh Norman. They brought back, what was his name? Karen Brown, Karan Brown. Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly. That's another one. And Herb, the Herb Brown. No, Karen Williams. Who was the guy we have on the team? I don't even know his name anymore. He's on the. Oh my God, Herb. Oh God, keep talking. I gotta look this up because it's killing me now.
Yeah. So none of these free agent names really arouse my interest. Adoree Jackson, Kendall Fuller, Stephon Gilmore.
No.
Yeah, right. Michael Davis, Jeff Okudah. Maybe Jeff Okudah because he's 24, young guy. Maybe he plays. I'm not sure if he's a zone guy or not. But I know he really has not. He didn't play well in Detroit and Atlanta. I don't really see him on the field like that either. Awuzie from Cincinnati, a good corner. I don't know how consistent he is, and they might even bring him back. He's only making $7.25 million right now. Emmanuel Mosley, C.J. Henderson is another younger guy that had some potential. We're all the way down to Noah Igbenogany, 24 years of age. Miles Bryant, 25. There's some young. Jalen Johnson. Would you take Jalen Johnson?
I would.
He is. Oof, man. He's looking at 17.1 million.
I
next
would
year.
not. I would not.
Psych.
Right.
Yeah. So, Christian Fulton.
Christian who?
Christian Fulton.
Who's that?
Titans.
I don't know. Yeah.
I liked him coming out of college.
Okay.
He went to Louisiana State. You don't remember him? Second round pick by the Titans.
I don't remember him. I can't place him.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't place him.
His number one comp is Taron Johnson.
Okay, so is he more of a slot in Tennessee then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's compared to Taron Johnson, he would have to be. I would hope.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm good. I you know what? And I think I actually even might, in all seriousness, maybe think about Levi again at 5. Just to hold over. I know. Just to hold over until we can get somebody else in. Because I actually did draft. Like I said, I drafted a guy from Louisiana.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tech.
You said something?
Yeah, I did. So let me. Okay, just to wash the taste out of your mouth, I will pull up Willie Roberts. Okay, I will pull up Willie Roberts for you, so you can take a look at him and see what you like.
L'Jarius Sneed is on the block.
How much is that though?
Man, L'Jarius Sneed. Ooh, 6.8 million. So 4 years, 27 million.
How is that going to work?
What do you mean?
$6 million for L'Jarius Sneed?
No, 6.8 million.
Okay, $7 million for L'Jarius Sneed. I was just trying to be clean with it, but yeah, that's.
You think he would get paid more than that? I mean,
I thought so.
Maybe from the Chiefs. Yeah,
I thought so. He's like their best cornerback. Isn't he?
Well,
Kyler Gordon is
his number one comp is Mike Hilton.
not Kyler Gordon. Mike Hilton.
Yeah, and then next guy after that is DJ Reed, which. Okay, you're probably talking about the best number 2 corner in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
the Chiefs, they got what? What's the guy? McDuffie. They got Trent McDuffie, right?
Yeah, he would probably take over as the number 1 because he's starting to come
number
up.
1.
Yeah,
I mean, wow, Sneed has been productive though. I don't know what their cap looks like, but
next guy after DJ Reed as a comp, Rasul Douglas.
they just like Rasul Douglas. It's
Yeah,
like
they
the
have
person
to.
watch.
They have to.
They don't watch anybody else but Rasul Douglas.
People have probably been begging for him to get out of Green Bay so that he can show something, and he finally does it at 30 years old.
Rasul Douglas.
Yeah, we might as well keep him.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. But I can tell you what I would love to do.
Okay.
Is Cameron Curl at safety from Washington.
Oh, wow.
If I can get my hands on Cameron Curl with Poyer and or Hyde not here anymore.
Oh, wow.
I would have to. And my thought process is at this point in time.
Sounds like you've been waiting to get to safety for a while now.
Well, we're on secondary, so
Okay.
That's actually what was my biggest thought because we have to really think about safety.
Yeah,
not
we do.
Time-wise.
They're going to have to be replaced, both of them.
At this point in time, why are you not sending guys like Kyer Elam, Cam Lewis, Saran Neal in practice? To see what you got. Can you keep them at safety? Do you have anything at safety? Because Kyer Elam, the book is not written on that guy. And he's going to be good somewhere. And I think we texted about it. Everybody talked about Jim Kelly coming back as a quarterback coach. Andre Reed is wide receiver. Where's Aaron Williams? I mean, Khalil Shakir worked out with Eric Moles in the offseason.
Would you be interested in a guy like Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Yeah, but what is his price, though?
I will tell you right now. $16.3 million.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Didn't mean to get your hopes up there. Do you think Grant Delpit would get let go from Cleveland? Probably not. He's having a great year.
On that defense, I don't think so. I think they're going to try to hold it together.
What about Kyle Duggar? If Belichick goes, I think that whole team could be ripped
I think the whole
apart.
team, it's no longer existing. But I don't know if do I want Duggar over Cameron Curl though. See, Cameron Curl he's what 20?
Is Curl a strong safety?
I'm not sure. That'd be something you have to do. But he's 24 years old, 6'2", 200 pounds. I mean, 7th round draft pick. So he could be had for money at 24 years old. You pair him with somebody. It's just too much for me to pass up on.
Zane Anderson is a free agent.
Cameron Curl then. Yeah.
Let me see. Here's Cameron Curl. Let's see. His market value is $15.3 million.
For 24 years old, his productivity, I think I would. I mean, how many years are they?
I mean, he's being compared to Derwin James, Minka Fitzpatrick,
yeah, he's gonna
Jesse
be
Bates.
something serious.
Yeah.
I mean, when we played Washington, I think I talked about him a little bit when we played them to watch out for him because all the craze is about this guy. He's going to up and coming Minka Fitzpatrick. You said Fitzpatrick or no?
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you could have a guy like that at 24 years old and going, if we got through with Poyer and Hyde, you want somebody that's going to make you forget about them. Because if they leave, you're gonna have some pains just because we're familiar. We've had them for the last almost decade, and they've been productive as a number 1 and number 2 tandem. So yeah, I think those guys are somebody that you really have to think about, especially with the established talent on a team that didn't do so hot, and a team that he's used to playing behind a high powered defensive line with no real linebackers.
So they don't have a market value or anything like that just yet for Darnell Savage, but I would like to have Darnell Savage on this team.
Who's he from?
Green Bay.
Okay. Is he compared to Rasul Douglas too?
he actually played with Rasul
I know.
Douglas.
So they're like, they're the same.
Yeah. So his let me see, his cap hit. Let's see, 2023. His cap hit this year is $2.4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Yeah. So $2.4 million. So I'm not sure what his market value next year would be, but maybe he makes it to free agency, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
Buda Baker's another guy that's out there.
I think if we're looking at this, in our fantasy world, and I say that not in tongue in cheek, I say that because if McDermott does show up, everything changes. But like I said, with Phil Parker or something like that, he's heavily weighted towards the secondary, so that's where the money's going to go. Versus a McDermott or somebody where they put the money in the line. So I think for me, I'd rather put my money in that secondary. And the line, we already have a line that's built, and we talked about how we can get an edge rusher. We already got Rousseau, we already got Ed Oliver, so we can put money in the back 4 or 5 now.
Right. Okay. Well,
can I just say, are we done with the secondary?
Yeah.
Can I just say it? Can we cut Sam Martin just because I
was going right to the punters? Yeah.
Okay, I just want to cut Sam Martin.
Okay.
I don't even care. I don't have an incumbent. Just cut him.
So we have one 37-year-old, a 31-year-old, and then everybody else is in their 20s.
Okay. So
let me see. None of these guys have a market value, but I can tell you what
it's going to be low
right now. Rigoberto Sanchez.
No, I think they got rid of him a couple times, so I'm good on that.
Cameron Johnston, Houston.
Nah, I'm looking at
Corey Bojorquez.
Actually, that's what I was looking at because I'm looking at the age.
Mm-hmm.
Bojorquez actually can be pretty good, and like we talked about, if I made the statement on the last show, I'm gonna have to be honest to it and stick with it now. You don't need somebody with a hell of a leg.
Yeah.
With this offense, and I didn't get into a dispute with a coworker about I don't want to call him punt guy, but Ariza. Yeah, his one punt was amazing, 80 yards.
Yeah.
But unless he's planning on kicking that thing out of Highmark Stadium or out of whatever the new stadium is going to be called, don't need it.
Right.
You need somebody that's got some kind of trajectory, somebody that brings something to the table, and Bojorquez has shanked them. But if in this offense, we're going to have the ball at probably at plus yardage almost all the time.
Right.
So, somebody that's going to get you some air under the ball and get that ball down inside the 10, or just give you a chance to cover the punt. That's going to serve dividends. And I didn't look at college punters. Too many. Don't really care.
Right.
Too many of them. So I'm just going to say, for the sake of this argument, since there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 available options at punter, we'll just go with Bojorquez and call it a day, because you're looking at anybody want to tell me Thomas Morstead at 38.
Yeah.
Daniel Wellen from Green Bay, didn't watch him, so don't know. Cameron Dicker from the Chargers, don't watch him, don't know, don't care.
Right.
Tommy Townsend from Kansas City, does he really punt when nobody's seen him because they have an amazing offense?
Yeah.
Cameron Johnston,
I mean, at this
31?
point, just give me Morstead, experienced guy. He had a big leg, but he's older now. So I mean, I would even take him at this point.
Okay, one of those two, we'll say.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. One of those two is fine with me.
Okay.
So quick question for quarterback coach, saying that we have Joe Brady as our full-time offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Davis Webb, do you bring him in and be the quarterback coach?
No.
No.
I might almost want to hire Dan Orlovsky to come and be quarterback. I think he would. Yeah. He's. I mean, his situation now. He's got younger children, so maybe it depends on where he's living. I think if he's at ESPN headquarters, that's in New York City, right? Or is that that's in Connecticut. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. Where he could commute if he needed to. But I just, to me, I want fresh eyes. I don't want anybody who's been here before, under the old regime. If we're cleaning house, we're cleaning house. I'm fine with keeping Joe Brady around, but I don't want to start bringing back guys that were, Joe Brady doesn't even know Davis Webb. You know what I'm saying? So I just know Josh Allen had a real good connection, and I know the reason why he didn't stay on as the quarterback coach when they offered it to him, because he wanted to play one more year. So he had the chance, and he was lauded. Obviously, Dable and other teams wanted him. He was coveted as a quarterback coach because of his mind. Coming out of college, he said he's going to be a better quarterback coach than a player. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's why I kind of pose that question. You have Josh Allen, unless you go ahead and draft a quarterback like I did in my mock. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback coach is, as long as Josh has a rapport with him. You don't have to know him for familiar sake, but you got to get along. Right. You got to see the game the same way, because that's your only job. Okay. All right. Well, this was long and fun, though. It was. I was very interested the whole entire way, which is, I was nervous because I had no notes. I came in here butt naked. Which is the first time ever that he's come in with no notes. Usually there's 3 pages worth of stuff that half of it we don't even get to. I would say half of it. Really, 60% of it, maybe even 70, we don't even get to. But yeah, this was fun. Monday show we can do 2025, right? You want to do we'll do 2025 on Monday. I definitely got to turn this down because I'm gonna be trying to talk over this music. It's super loud. Music started. That means I got a minute and a half to get us out of here. So let the competition begin. I love when you say that. I want to start by thanking everybody who was tuned into the show today. I was going back and forth between notes and stuff like that. So let me just see if we didn't have any comments. Okay. So thank you to everybody that checked us out. Thank you to everybody that's currently still watching with us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you make that little bell ring. Yeah. Make that thing ring. Yeah. All right. Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter. I just started a TikTok page for the podcast, so that's gonna be all you, because I don't know how to use that for Jack. I'm learning. I'm gonna figure it out. I will work with you. So with that being said, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on every platform you can think of right now. Hit us up, whichever one you're comfortable with. Give us questions, give us comments, give us your ideas on what you think could benefit the Bills team, and let's talk about it. I'm huge on just thinking it through, just letting the thoughts fly and seeing what happens. I feel like this music is going to cut out before we finish, so I'm just going to give myself a little bit more by adding another minute and 30 seconds onto this bad boy. So with that said, listen, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I'm very thankful for everything that we've gotten support wise from you guys. Keep referring us, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep doing all of that stuff. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your granddaddy, tell everybody that you can tell, so that we can continue to grow this thing and give you more and more content as time goes on. Do you have anything else? Hey man, just send them over this way. I'll holler. All right. With that being said, This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth No Sodium Takes. Our producer Junie is on the show.
Yes. We heard your voice.
Against his will, he's on the show. Anyway, I've been your co-host Aramis.
This is Key.
And that's it. We are out.
Peace.